Ko Daniel Griffiths tōku ingoa. New Zealanders have been well served historically by distributors sourcing and controlling water heating as a source of flexibility. But we live in changing times. As you all know, New Zealand is aiming to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels as a means to generate our power. And at the same time, we're expecting to see demand growing for electricity from transport and industrial processes. I'm sure everyone on this webinar will appreciate flexibility, both in the use of electricity and the supply of electricity, will reduce overall system costs of the transition. And this will greatly benefit all New Zealanders. New technologies are becoming increasingly available and affordable. This is encouraging existing and new entrants to develop and offer new services to consumers. We've seen retailers expanding into controlling water heating and more generous buybacks as some of the more notable recent developments. We also see great promise in the emerging flexibility services market. And while there are still things to be worked out, we think now is the right time to put a stake in the sand. This acts as a foundation from which distributors can operate and support the growth of flexibility services. I do want to say up front, our publishing this guidance isn't to penalise distributors or to make it hard for them to deliver flexibility services. I see it as quite the opposite. We want to encourage the emerging flexibility market to flourish. And to give that the best chance of happening, we want to provide clarity to distributors and to others about the kinds of behaviours that we see as best supporting a level playing field for flexibility. The purpose of the guidance, therefore, is to protect the development of the flexibility services market. And we expect the use of existing distributed energy resources will lead to greater opportunities and investment in flexibility capacity. In developing these guidelines, these principles, we have consulted with the Commerce Commission, mainly because Part 4 of the Commerce Act regime for distributors, administered by the Commission, is interested in some of the same subject matter as the guidance. The draft guidance we're discussing today deliberately takes a principles-based approach. Some may be concerned that this lacks specificity, but we think this is the right approach. In our view, this approach is adaptable and suited to the environment we're in, where the market is still developing. We see the guidance as a start, as a building block, if you will, and something that we can work on together, which is what today is about. We can see something that we can develop over time. We think this approach will support greater transparency and innovation in the sector rather than hindering it. So things can always improve with feedback. We're looking forward to your feedback on the draft guidance today and to understand your views. As a flourishing flexibility service market is something that we all hold as important. Kia ora.